Okay, this is Mrs. Jacobs, and I'll be teaching you 4th grade GoMath Chapter 1, Lesson 1.2. Okay, and this lesson, learning target is I can write numbers up to the hundred thousands in standard, word, and expanded form. So yes, we will be writing numbers, okay, and this taking apart this teaching point, learning target, we can see that we're going to be writing numbers up to the hundred thousands, and we have 3 different forms: standard form, word form, and expanded form. Okay, and this is standard 4.NBT.2. All right, so in order to dive into this lesson, we really need to know what standard form is, word form is, and expanded form is in order to be able to be successful. Okay, so we're just going to go over some vocabulary and give you a definition and an example. All right, so I'm going to take you through this. Okay, all right, so we have expanded form. A way to write numbers by showing the value of each digit, okay? And this is why that lesson on knowing a digit's value is so important, because this is going to help you with expanded form. So you really need to know the value of a digit, value of each digit. So let me show you what that means. Maybe you have seen this before. All right, so let's look at this example. So if I was to give you this number, 7,201, which is in standard form, okay, that's how we normally write it, and I asked you to take 7,201 and write it in expanded form, you would need to give the value of each and every digit in that number. Okay, so for example, you would need to go to each digit. So what's the value of the 7? 7,000. And we add the values together, so don't forget the addition symbols. Then we move on to the next value. The value of the 2? 200. The value of the 0 is 0, and that's why we don't put it in there, because it has no value. It's worth nothing. So then we move over to the next place, and we see the value of that digit is 1. So that's where each value is separated by an addition symbol, right? So if I was to add 7,000, right, plus 200 plus 1, I should get my standard form number, right? That's a good way to check work, okay? All right, so now that we know expanded form, we'll do a little practice later. Standard form, a way to write numbers by using the digits 0 through 9, with each digit having a place value. So the example is 345. So if you look, it's the digit 3, the digit 4, and the digit 5. It's written standard using the digits to form numbers. All right. Then word form, I think, explains itself. All right, it's a way to write numbers, obviously using words. Okay, and what's important with word form is how you read it is how you write it. So if you read it wrong, you're going to most likely write it in words incorrectly. Right? So it's really important to know how to read a number in order to do this. All right, so for example, we read this number 212. Not 212. No, there's no and. We read it 212. And that's why we write it 212. So you have to be very careful. And always go back and reread what you wrote. All right? In words. All right, so let's jump into some practice. All right, so these numbers are obviously written in standard form. So they're written like normal numbers. So we consider that standard form. Okay, standard form. All right. Then we have all these are in expanded form, where we took the values of each digit and added them together. Okay, so I'll take one of these examples, all right, and I will show you here the value of the 1. We'll use this example. Let's use a different color. The value of the 1 is 100,000. Move on to the next digit. The value of the 7, 70,000. The value of the 5, 5,000. The value of the 1, 100. The value of the 2, 20. The value of the 3 is 3. So as you can see, I started all the way to the left. As I pointed to the digit, I record its value. Then I keep moving on to the next place and so forth. Okay. And now we have, these are all written in word form. Okay. So remember, word form, how you read the number is how you write it. And just to remember that after the word 1,000, there's a comma, because in standard form, there's a comma when we say thousands, right? So for example, 3,000, we have 3,000, comma, 605, right? So we're going to have to be able to go from one form to another, all right? And that's what we're going to be practicing. So let's show you. This is word form, right? All right, let's continue. All right. So let's read directions. Write the number in 2 other forms. So first we have to identify what form we have, and then we can do the other 2. So remember, there's standard, expanded, word. Standard, expanded, and word. Right? So look at number 1. That's all digits. So they gave us here 98,317. That is standard form. So we're looking at it in standard form. So obviously I need expanded form and word form. Okay? So let's do word first. All right? So remember, word form, how you read it is how you write it. So I'm reading it. 98,000, right? So I'm just going to write that. I'm going to chunk it. So 98,000, comma. Now I read the rest of the number. 317. 317. 317. 17. I read it back. 98,317. 98,317. Good. So now I'm going to move on to expanded form, because that's the other form that's missing. So value of the 9, 90,000. Plus, move on, value of the 8, 8,000. Then I move on, value of the 3, 300. Value of the 1, 10. Value of the 7, 7. And there we have word and expanded form. All right, moving on to number 2. Obviously, I see words, so they gave us word form. Now, here's one thing I suggest. If they give you word form, put it in standard form first before you do expanded. So from words, do standard, then expanded. All right, so I'm going to read this. This says 126,702. All right, so let's start building our number. So here it says 126. 126. The word thousand stands for the comma. So it's 126,000, 702. 702. And be careful, I had to put a 0 in the tens place because there weren't any tens. It's 702, right? So remember, there's always 3 digits after a comma. So please check your work on that. So this is standard form. Now we can do expanded. All right, and I'll do that in a different color. Okay. So the value of the 1 is 100,000. Value of the 2, 20,000. Value of the 6, 6,000. Value of the 7, 700. The value of the 0 is 0, so I'm not going to put anything because it's worth nothing. Then I move on. The value of the 2 is 2. And there we have standard and expanded form. Okay, and now in number 3, they gave us expanded. I could tell by the separating of the values with the addition symbols. So this is expanded form. So we need to do standard form and word. So I like to do standard form first. I just feel it's a lot easier. Okay? So we have 900,000 plus 20,000 plus 5,000 plus 500 plus 1. All right? So we can see that this number goes up to the 100,000s. How do I know? Because it's in 900,000. So what I like to do is to make myself places. Okay? For example, ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Because I know a number in the 100,000s place has 6 digits no matter what. If you are a number in the 100,000s, you have to have 6 digits. So now I could start putting in the digits that belong there, right? So this is 900,000, 20,000, 5,000, 501. Okay? So let me show you how this can work. So, how many 100,000s do we have? We said 900,000s. So the 9 goes in the 100,000s place. The 9. How many 10,000s do we have? We have 2. How many thousands do we have? 5. How many hundreds do we have? 5. How many tens do we have? There is no number in the tens here. It'd be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I don't see that. There are no tens. So that's where your 0 comes in as a placeholder, right? To show that we don't have any tens. And last but not least, how many ones do we have? 1. So now our number is 925,501. Another way would just be take all these numbers and add them up. You could do that also. You could do 900,000 plus 20,000 plus 5,000 plus 500 plus 1. Okay? All right, so now we have to write this in words. Okay? And it would be 925,501. So I'm going to write really small. 925 925,000, comma, 501. Five, not 501, it's 501. I fit it. Yay. All right. So you might be asked, when we give you one form, we want you to give us the two other forms. All right? So you have to be able to go back and forth and write numbers in standard, expanded, and word form. All right. So here, write the following in word form and expanded form. And at this point, you could do these with me unless you feel that you understood and don't need to watch the video anymore. However, if you need some extra practice, you should continue and we could do these together. So write the following in word and expanded. So they only want word and expanded. Word and expanded. Okay? So let's do words. 7,320. So I read it back. 7,320. 7,320. Okay. Now I have to do expanded form. Remember, that's taking the value of every digit and adding them together. It's like you're expanding them, stretching them out into its separate values. So we have the 7 is 7,000, its value. Value of the 3, 300. Value of the 2, 20. And the value of the 0 is 0, so I can leave it. I don't need to do plus 0 at the end. Okay? All right, now let's do next one. 38,045. 38. So it's 38, then the word thousand. The comma stands for the word thousand. 38,045. Okay. 38,000, comma, 38,045. Okay, and now we're going to do expanded form. Value of the 3. Value of the 3, 30,000. Value of the 8, 8,000. Value of the 0, nothing. So I move on. Value of the 4, 40. Value of the 5 is 5. And there we have expanded form. And last but not least, we have 104,237. So again, let's chunk it. 104, and that stands for the word thousand. So we're going to write 104,000, comma, 237. 237. All right. Now I have to fit in here. We're squishing in. We need to still do expanded. All right. So, okay. Just moved it up a little bit, guys. All right. So that I can fit this one in. So let's do the value of the 1. And that's 100,000. The value of the 0 is nothing, so I skip it. There's no value. It's worth nothing. So I go to the next one. Value of the 4 is 4,000. Value of the 2 is 200. The value of the 3 is 30. and then the value of the 7 is 7. So there we have taking standard form and putting it into Word and expanded. So the other thing that children had confusion with is taking and just writing numbers in standard form. So when I look at these numbers, how do I put them in just standard form? All right. So most important is reading it, like I said, is reading it and also using place value to help you. So this number reads 8,470. So I know a number in the thousands place, right? Just thousands. Okay. We're going to need ones. We're going to need ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Okay. So 8,000. 8,000. 8,000. Then this says 470. 470. And always go back and check your work. 8,000, 8,000. 470, 470. Always go back and match it. Okay? Next one. They give us words. 456,012. So this number is in the hundred thousands because it says 456,000. So watch this. 456. That's where I get from here. 456. 1,000 is the comma. Now how do I write 12? Now remember, you need 3 digits after the comma. So you have to be very careful on placing the digit 1 and the digit 2 because that's what 12 is. 1, 2, right? So you have to be very careful. If I put it here, that's 120. That's not what we want. We want, okay, we want it to read 12. So the placement is very important. So 12 is really 110 and 2 ones. There is no hundreds in the number 12. So that's why we put a 0 there. Okay? So that's how we write that in standard form. Okay? So now we're going to go from expanded to standard. Okay? And I know that this is 20,000 plus 3,000. So if I combine these, all my thousands, that's another way to look at it. So if I'm combining all my thousands, I'm adding really 20 plus 3. So 20 plus 3 is 23,000. And I know 23,000 starts like that. Then I could do 500. And then 10 plus 2 is 12. And then I could check it by doing its values. The value of the 2, 20,000. The value of the 3, 3,000. The value of the 5, 500. The value of the 1, 10. And the value of the 2 is 2. So that's another way to check work. All right, make sure that you have written the correct number. All right, so next one is 700,000 plus 9,000 plus 800 plus 6. All right, so again, we could look at these thousands here. So it's like 700,000 and 900,000 makes 709,000. Then here we have 800, but then just 6. 806. So there is no tens. So that gets the 0. 806. And again, just match its values just to make sure, right? All right. So this is the end of the lesson, okay, where you needed to be able to write numbers in 3 different forms and go from one form to another. Okay, I hope this video has helped you and enjoy your day.